Hi everybody, good morning. Hope you're feeling well after the dance party last night. I'm here to give a talk. My name's Alex Leith. I'm here to give a talk about the Open Data Cube. Long live the Open Data Cube, but the Open Data Cube is dead. So a long time ago in a country far, far away, which is actually not that far from here, just over the ditch, as we say, or the Dutch, as they say, accessing Earth observation data was hard. And that's because it was on these archival tapes, put in big storage boxes, stored in a cave, and if you really wanted one, then you'd have to pay someone to go down there and brave the depths, and maybe they emerged with the tape that you needed. But more seriously, you actually had to go through a printed list of scenes, of Landsat scenes, and say, I want that one, and send off a check for $1,000 US, and maybe you'd get one back eventually at great cost and great patience, and maybe it was useful. But Geoscience Australia and the USGS and others did a big project to unlock the Landsat archive, to make that data more easily accessible and put it on spinning disks. They also did a process to make the data more ready for analysis. They called that analysis-ready data, funnily enough, making it from the picture on the left where the clouds are painted blue like they're water, and on the right it's better because the water is blue. So yeah, that makes it more better. They wrote a bit of software called the Open Data Cube, which is outlined in this diagram here. It's really nice, but you need to manage a list of all those Landsat scenes in a Postgres database, which is fine if you are a maintainer of infrastructure. But if you want to allow guests to use that database, then we don't like other guests attaching to our database, and so you have to have a nice, secure little space. And we don't want to expose the database over the public internet. So what is the Data Cube? First, it's a tool to manage that catalog, that Postgres database, that big list of Landsat scenes. But it's also a tool to interrogate that catalog to make an X-array. What's an X-array? What's a Python in-memory data structure for working with arrays of data? Like this, an ND labeled array or dataset in Python. The Open Data Cube makes simply the best X-arrays. But what if we can make really good X-rays without having to have a direct connection to a Postgres database? Well, good news, everyone, because in the audience, we just so happen to have the granddaddy, the grandpappy of the spatiotemporal asset catalog, Matt Hansen himself. Round of applause. Woo, Matt. STAC is a specification, a set of schemas for a catalog, a collection, an item, and that maps really well to DataCube's database of products and data sets. You don't really need to know what that means, but it just so happens that they're both really similar models, so they're both designed by smart people. Now, STAC also has an API. This is Matt resting. STAC API is a REST API. That's unrelated. A REST API looks something like this. It's a URL. It's really easy to understand. You have a collection called Landsat. So to create the URL to find that Landsat collection, you create a URL like this. That's a REST API. With that, you can do a search and you can find a list of STAC items. With a list of STAC items, you can use a tool called odc-stac to turn those into an X-array, a really delicious, simply the best ODC data cube-like X-array. In short, odc-stac turns a list of items into an X-ray dataset, which is really handy to use. And some time ago, just before the collapse of the platform formerly known as Twitter, I wrote a pithy post on there, and I said something like, with 2 Python libraries with 6 lines of code, you can load data, Earth observation data from anywhere in the world in a few seconds. And it went geospatially viral. There were like 400,000 people that saw this. There's like 400 retweets. 700 retweets, 4,000 likes. I don't know about you, but that feels pretty viral as a GIS person, which goes to show that there is a lot of demand for these easy ways of working with Earth observation data. I've got an infographic. Suffice it to say that it used to be hard and now it's easy. Accessing Earth observation data is easier now because we can use odc-stac to attach to a REST, to query a REST interface, the STAC API, to get a list of data sets, turn that into an X-array, and that means the old school Open Data Cube is dead. Long live ODC-stac.